listen, I said it after game one, I believe it was when me and John talked. I said if the Cavs bench doesn't get their shit together, this could be a quick series. I think I said it could end in 5 for the Knicks. So with the Knicks, I said I underestimated their bench. They've got I only said the best bench in the NBA. I think that's a little much, but they do have a top tier bench, especially left in the playoffs. The team competes. It's a Tibbs team. They compete hard. They hustle. They give the effort. They're overachievers, honestly. But round 2 is coming, and you're gonna have to face a team that matches that energy and that heart and that grit in Miami, and
that can play defense, that has the bodies to throw against.
We're gonna see.
I don't think what the thing with the Heat Knicks matchup is. Mitchell Robinson is a better rebounder than Bam. Bam isn't Jared Allen. He's not gonna get treated like a child like that.
I can't wait for that matchup.
And you have the bodies to throw. Especially if Julius Randle isn't playing, or he's 100%, you have the bodies to throw at Jalen Brunson. Unlike the Knicks does. The whole thing with us and them is our 3-point shooting going to keep up? Because if we don't keep up, yes, that's going to be a very tough series, and we may lose that in 6 if our 3-point shooting doesn't keep up. If we're able to keep at a level where we're shooting 37, 38% from 3 consistently throughout the series, I can definitely see us taking that series in 6, simply because you have way too many bodies to throw at Jalen Brunson. It's not the same situation where you're going to out-rebound a team to that type of level. And Julius Randle really isn't 100%. And Jimmy Butler has been Jimmy Butler.
So you act like we don't have an answer for everything that you guys have on offense.
That's what I'm saying. That's why this is bound to be a 6 or 7 game series. I know that. Either it's just depending on which ones which things go each team's way. If the Knicks are able to dominate the glass like they've been able to, they're taking the series. If the Heat can keep them off the glass and keep shooting not even to the way they're doing, but to the degree they were shooting the second half of the regular season, they can take it. It just matters which one goes each team's way.
I think the scariest thing is that a lot of people forget about this series with the Knicks versus the Cavs is Immanuel Quickley on the offensive side was not what he was in the regular season. We didn't see that explosion that we're so used to watching. Also, Julius Randle was non-existent basically in the last 3 games of that series, and we won all 3. Also, Quentin Grimes was out. So we were basically out 2 starters and our 6th man of the year offensively not producing to the level that we're used to. So I don't believe the Knicks were even playing at their best level just yet. I honestly believe it's just, we crap on guys like Julius Randle for his playoff performances back in 2021 against the Hawks, and then he had some ugly games in the series, but he also had a solid game 1, and before he got injured in game 5, he was having a solid game there too. Mm-hmm. Now there's a larger sample size to pick from in round 2. If he's healthy and he's out there, then you guys can start picking him. But you never know. Julius Randle put up some points against Miami in the regular season. Who else did? R.J. Barrett as well. R.J. had a 30-piece on your Miami Heat. Immanuel Quickley had big games against the
Miami one guy. R.J. is the one guy I'm worried about.
Really?
The thing with Julius Randle in the playoffs, and tell me if I'm joking here, Ray. The problem with Julius Randle is that he does the inability to go right is so insane to me.
That's been a problem since 2021, yeah.
Exactly. And when you get into a 7 game, it's different than a Wednesday game in the regular season. When you go into a 7-game playoff series and you allow, especially a coach like Eric Spoelstra, and you have that big of a weakness, it's going to be a problem. It's the same thing with Sabonis. He can't go. The teams just play him right, and he consistently tries to go back left, and he either fumbles the ball, takes some awkward step back jumper, and it's going to come.
Funny how I said that Kings fans called me an idiot when I said that 2 months ago. It's funny how that works. And but here's the thing, Romain, RJ Barrett is no right hand either.
But the thing is with RJ is that he's way more physical. For some reason, he knows how to use his body and physicality a lot more than Julius Randle. Julius Randle is a tough shot maker. That's his game. RJ is attacking from the perimeter, and since we already have our best defenders occupied, he was attacking on Tyler Hero, and this time he's going to be attacking on Max Strus. So it doesn't matter if he doesn't have a right hand. Those guys don't have the stature to keep up with him, so he's going to be able to get in the paint the way he normally does. And Bam isn't the uber rim protector. Bam is a pretty good rim protector, but he's not a crazy rim protector. He's more of a switchable perimeter-oriented post-up, be able to stay with you one-on-one and make the shot difficult. But RJ just always gives us a problem because the matchups are there. He's going to attack our smaller guards or smaller wings that we don't have that aren't defensively great. But our better defender, Julius Randle, just has a problem that's so big sometimes that offensively you can't expect him to have really efficient performances unless he just gets insanely hot and he's hitting ridiculous shit.
I'll say it like this, Roman. When you're Superman, you look so good against, everybody else, right? But when you go up against Batman and he's got prep time and he brings that kryptonite out, you start to get a little exposed. And that's what the Knicks are. I listen, Spo is a genius. He is a top 3 head coach in this league, arguably the best head coach in this league. He's been here. He's done that. He's seen everything. He's coached a numerous bunch of players from the best of the best to, undrafted players. I think the most undrafted players playing in a playoff series today. So when you come in to a series against that type of team, experienced, #heat culture, which is a real thing, and you come in with these weaknesses that are so apparent and abhorrent, it's hard for me to picture that Spo and Jimmy and Bam and Kyle and all these guys aren't going to take advantage of that. And I'll say this. You guys did what you needed to do against the Cavs, and I said the Cavs were not going to be ready for MSG. Okay? I said that. They're a young team. It's their first kind of rodeo around here. We are not the Cleveland Cavaliers. We have people who have been there. We have done that. We will not be scared of this MSG moment. I want you to understand that. I know MSG is rocking. I know how they get. All right? But don't forget, we are not the Cavaliers. We are not inexperienced. We have been here. We have done that.
I think the MSG crowd's a little bit overrated.
Okay, John.
That's a little much. That's a little much. I wouldn't say that.
If in terms of actually affecting the Knicks' playoff fortunes, because we've seen them with home court before and knocked out multiple times in the playoffs. Not that the crowd isn't good; it's one of the best crowds in the league. But has it actually helped the Knicks a whole lot? I don't think so.
I think it's different this year because of their drought and because of how the Knicks fans have felt over that. They're so, especially they just won the damn series since what, 2012, Justin, or before that?
10 years since we. 10
so
years.
The energy. It's also about. Now they're feeding the Knicks fans. The Knicks fans feel fed now.
They had
now
more energy in 2021 from the fans, I would say.
Okay, but I'm just saying. I feel like they're re-energized now, and they feel it. Like, I mean, you can't look at the Cleveland. You can't look at Game 3 and Game 4 and tell me that MSG did not have a reason they did not win.
Obviously, not going to disagree with you on that point. I just wanted to make that note. I don't think MSG is the best home court advantage.
No, I didn't say the best. I mean, the freaking Warriors is still, I think, the top tier.
I think people make it out to be up on that level when it's not.
Also, one more thing. The Knicks fans like to make a villain out of certain players. Jimmy's not the person you want to do that with. Don't make the same mistake y'all made with Trey. Don't do that. Don't do that to the wrong person again.
Or Reggie.
Yeah, we'll see. But you know what? I'll say all in all before we wrap this up on the Knicks portion. This is going to be a hell of a series. I have nothing but respect for the Miami Heat. Just because I say this is the matchup that I prefer doesn't mean that I respect them any less. I just think on paper, both teams stack up very well against each other. I expected Knicks Cavs to go 7. I'm going to say the same thing about Knicks Miami. I'll take my Knicks in 7.
Real quick, my prediction for that series is 8-6. It's going to be a close series, but I think what it really comes down to is that the Knicks have a lot more exploitable weaknesses. Look, Julius Randle re-aggravating that left ankle injury. He didn't look good for most of that series. He had 2 good quarters, 2 good halves, I should say, out of 10 total. The rest of the series, he was god-awful. And defensively, even, he was killing them. So I think for as good as this Knicks bench has been, if Jalen Brunson's your only reliable perimeter creator, I think you're going to be outmatched in this series. And the other part of it, too, is that, look, Jimmy Butler will be the best player on the floor, and I think just about every single game. For as good as Jalen Brunson has been, it wasn't a high bar to get
levels to this.
I mean, let's be honest here. In round 1, the Knicks had a C effort. On the glass, they had an A effort. But let me actually reword that. They had an A effort, but in the Knicks versus Cavs series, I feel like for the Knicks, they performed at a C level. They didn't make shots. Defensively, they did a stout job rebounding, but all things considered, they didn't play particularly well in that series.
How long do you think that persists, though, John?
I mean, it's a
For as
C
long as
plus team.
Julius Randle's hurt and not performing in the playoffs, Justin, I think that could be more
No,
of a trend
but
here.
I'm saying
Also-
more so the shots eventually will start falling. You know, we didn't shoot well
Don't
at
say
all.
that. Don't say that. I said that
Emmanuel
all. I
Quickly
said that
or
all
for
last
Julius
year,
Randle?
and I said that all last playoffs, and we consistently shot 33% from three the entire playoffs up until Boston. Those shots sometimes don't start falling. Sometimes you're gonna
Fair.
find another way to do it.
And we're
Fair.
also well aware the Knicks are not seeing the space of the floor particularly well. I say that because the Heat had I think an A-level performance versus the Bucks. They played both Jimmy and the role players flat out phenomenal, right?
Mhm.
I felt like the Bucks were a much better test for the Heat. Like the Cavaliers,
That's the
legitimately,
ultimate
they
test.
had an
No,
F.
that's
Like
a
if
fair
I had to
argument.
grade the Cavaliers' first round performance, I am giving it an F, maybe a G. It was that dog shit. With the Knicks, they're solid though, and so I want to point that out now. I know Knicks fans winning their second playoff series in 2022 or 22 years should be absolutely hyped right now. I would be too. But I look at that type of matchup versus Bam, who I think you're saying did suffer that hamstring injury last night. I said to myself,
No, not last night. He suffered it way earlier. That's why he's been so bad this
it's
entire
re-aggravated
series.
a little bit. I think
he had
that's
it since
the
the
worst
regular
type of
season.
matchup for this Knicks team. Bam on Julius Randle, Jimmy Butler, and Caleb Martin switching onto their guards. I think this Miami team is the right type of size. And if KL's popping 5 threes like he did last night, which is a very real possibility, well, all of a sudden the Miami Heat has some legitimate floor spacing to open up the entire one-way for Jimmy B. Jimmy buckets.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. He has a case of being a top 5 player at his absolute best. And this
Also-
is where you want your player at his
Another problem is that don't be surprised if Jalen Brunson gets that Trae Young treatment. Because if Julius Randle's not playing, you don't have another primary creator. You're gonna have to either it's gonna be pretty. He's gonna see a ton of double teams. He's gonna see a ton of traps because he's the only one that can really hurt you consistently with the ball in his hands until you get to the bench with Emmanuel Quickly. But
I can't wait.
don't be surprised if you see the same level of trapping, double teaming, and forcing anybody else but him to beat you. And even then, even when you do that, the Heat rotate really well to the point where they're trapping you, and then you have to hit a perimeter shot because you're not getting a layup in the paint after we double you. So this is gonna get murky as hell. This is gonna be a chess match, and it's gonna get murky as hell. And in a chess match, I'm not taking anybody over Eric Spoelstra.